All right, guys. I'm I'm still alive here. I hadn't kicked the bucket or anything. Uh, Although sometimes I think I'm going to. But I've got a little bit more progress done on this Dodge Charger, and apologize for the way I talk. I just had a couple weeks ago. I had some teeth pulled right here in front. Got a few more to go, but I'm letting this heal before I get my parcel and everything. So, but anyways, I think the last time that I done a video on this thing was I had everything mocked up. You can see it right there. I had everything mocked up for the blower and everything on it, and I think it looks pretty good that way. Trying to make this thing look natural with all the other pulleys there. This guy I'm building for, he's wanting to be able to make changes to the car while it's still sitting in the case, and that way he could have 3 different cars. So I'm taking a playbook out of or a play out of Dr. Cranky's playbook, and I'm using magnets, and I've got this blower right here. I've got a magnet right there underneath it, and then I've got a magnet underneath right here on the center of the block, and then that way when you put it all together, man, it fits perfect. It looks good. Now, since I put this blower on here and everything with all the other pulleys behind it, I had to put a longer snout on the blower, so I had to move the radiator core forward this much right here. Otherwise, the belt would be inside the radiator. And I won't be running a fan. What I'll do, I'll put, I've got some cooling fans right here that I mold, and I'll put that on the outside of the core, in between the core and the grill. So that's one option right there. Okay, I'm going to pull that off. And then he wants a stock hood with a stock looking okay, I'm going to drill them holes out. So anyways, this is the stock intake right there. Done the same thing did. Got a magnet right there, and it goes right in place. And then of course the stock carbs that came with it and the breather will go on it just like that after I drill them holes back out where the glue filled them in. So and I could have used a little bit better detailed carbs, cause you know, it would look better and stuff like it, but I got to thinking, I'm using the stock intake and the stock breather. Why not use the stock carburetors? Because I didn't want it to raise it up and hit the hood. The whole object of this setup here is to keep everything under the hood. So got that done. Now comes the hard part, and that is getting a shaker set up on here too. So yeah, he's wanting 3 hoods and 3 engine setups. This is going to be something different than I've ever done, and I don't know if I've seen it done before. Y'all may have, but I haven't. So that's the update on the motor. And of course I got the core support and the radiator and everything. I got it moved, like I said, up front to allow for that longer snout. And I got the inside of the trunk covered. Filled that little hole in right there, and get it sanded and everything ready to flock it, because I'm going to open up the trunk on it. I've got the trunk almost cut out and the doors almost cut out. I'm going to build my hinges probably later on tonight. I got the firewall, the back of the firewall almost glued. Just got it clamped right now to hold it to where I can get started on the front part where I moved that core support out. I got to fill all that in. And I'm probably trying to work on it later on tonight too. So, but guys, that's about the only thing that I've got done on this thing. I just been busy doing lots of other stuff and hadn't had a chance to work down here. And I did get me a roll of 30 gauge wire, 8 colors. I got it off of eBay for $6. It's got 1,000 feet on it. So I think that right there will probably do me for wiring and distributors for the rest of my life and whoever else takes over my hobby. Theirs and theirs after. But I think that's about it. I've got some other additions to my stash that I have bought while we were on vacation through my birthday. We don't live far from Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, so we went down there for a couple of nights, and granddaughters went with us, so they enjoyed all that. Well, the oldest didn't know anything about Dukes of Hazzard. I told her, I said, you can't be a redneck unless you know anything about Dukes of Hazzard. So we took them to Cooter's Garage, and she just absolutely loved it. And while I was down there, I ended up getting me some, and I will show on a video later on, I ended up getting me some guitar picks that they had down there. They had several different kinds. I was just going to get a few, but my wife Kathy kept pulling them out and saying, here, you need these, you need these. Be perfect for inlays on dashes and even seat backs, them all not cutting anything off of them. And I did get 2 of the 1/16 scale General Lee's, and I thought they'd quit making the flag entirely on the decal sheet, but it don't have it on the box, but it is in the decal sheet on the ones that they've got down there, and I'm sure they're probably newer releases. And of course, I did get a Challenger with the shaker hood, so I can use this for this build here. And I got a bunch of landscaping stuff from Hobbytown, and then I'm making quite a bit of mine. I've got a place up here in the backyard that's got a bunch of moss that's growing, and right now they look like little bitty shrubs and tufts of grass. So I seen a thing on the internet the other day where you can preserve moss and stop it from turning brown. So by using glycerin and denatured alcohol. So I'm going to do that here pretty soon and get me some of that, and then I'll be ready to get started on my diorama of my great grandmother's old house. But guys, that's about it. I have been watching a few videos. There's some real nice builds out there, and hopefully soon as I get caught up and everything with all the stuff that I've got to do around here, that we can get started and do some of these builds and everything. Get in on some of them, but that's about it, guys. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll talk to you later.